What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Anthony Sain Show. This is, of course, your host, Anthony Sain. I got my guy, Kenneth Stubblefield, with me. He ain't behind the glass. He's right here beside me today. And the man to my left, to my right, I don't know how this joint gonna come out when we edit this joint or whatever. You know I got to introduce him, man. You might know him from the Daily Grind. You might know him as being a boss who owns a podcast and who don't even be on no more. The Three the Hardaway joint.
Let's be real.
Let's be real. Let's be real. Oh, my bad. Excuse me, brother.
Three the Hardaway's under Let's Be Real. Network.
Oh shit. Oh, my bad, brother. Oh man, I apologize, bro. He owns Let's Be Real. Right. He owns Let's Be Real, and one of those podcasts is Three the Hardaway podcast. He don't even be on. He just on the network. But you know what I'm saying? Real boss type move. We had a little Bluff City media meeting before the show in Paris. Y'all sound like real bums over here. Let me teach y'all how to run a podcast network.
Shout out to my guy Parrish, man.
Right.
You might know him for holding the city together with super glue. Whether it be with the school something, whether it be with construction going on through the city. Whatever it is, former alderman of some district in the city of Memphis, my guy Parrish Shark in the building. Oh, you might also know him because he's the only mug in the city that actually recording shit in the locker room for y'all.
Jeez.
Everybody else just talking about shit. Like, oh, Josh just said this. Motherfucker, what a video, bro. What a goddamn video.
Hey,
I'm tired of y'all talking about shit that Josh just said, bro. Huh?
I said, man, Infield posted like, this time, though.
Right. I think people watching the show, I think a lot of people feel called out, bro, because all of a sudden everybody posts a video now.
Everybody starts posting videos.
Yeah, man, but y'all know him.
Shout out.
He is the Memphis Grizzlies beat reporter. The only Grizzlies beat reporter that Bluff City Media has ever known. My guy, Parrish Shark, is in the building. Parrish, what's going on, brother?
Ain't that much, bro. Tired as hell from last night.
Hey, man, you tired from last night, but I know you took 2 days off this week, man, covering the team, man. I forgot to put that in your intro. Too.
I went 3 straight days, man. Had the Atlanta game.
Wow.
Had the Tony Allen premiere Tuesday, and then the game last night.
Yeah.
I took Saturday in preparation for this week. That's why.
And be honest, the Tony Allen thing was the best thing you covered for the Grizzlies all week.
A movie, a YouTube video.
That's a documentary.
There was much more than a YouTube video.
Hey, Michael Blevins style. That documentary.
It come out tonight, right?
Yeah, that John Bell. Well, I guess it came out when this show come out. Then already came out, but yeah. That's
come out Thursday night, right?
Yeah, that's better than some Netflix documentaries. Like real talk, like
for real. All right, bro. I'm not trying to sow. My bad, brother. I'm not trying to sow any negative mojo. Like I'm not trying to speak to this at all. I do not understand how Mike Blevins is an employee of the Memphis Grizzlies, and that's it. Like I don't understand how nobody.
Bro, I had the same thought.
Bro, like this dude is making like really good documentaries for a small market NBA team. Like it seems like he should be like doing stuff for Hollywood. He's really good. I don't know how they retain him.
How does NBA or NBA Films not pick that man up and said, run everything for us? Right?
I'm willing to bet that Robert Perry is paying him over market value, though. I'm sure he's getting paid way more than his peers. Like he has to be. He has to be, bro. Like there's nothing stopping him from going. So he's too good. And maybe I'm speaking like looking through a tunnel. Like I really don't really know good work when I see it. But it seems like his job it's just like his work is way better than the job he has. I don't know. I'm sure parents take care of him because
what's crazy about it is that he's still the dude that's on the baseline covering filming all the games.
Yes.
Oh wow, dang.
Like he's still on the baseline. All the clips you see from the baseline in the Grizzlies games, that's Michael Blevins shooting that.
Yeah, dang. He's like making like Hollywood movie level stuff for sure. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, check that out if you haven't. We'll probably definitely talk about that next week on next week's show, that Tony Allen documentary. Not much to talk about on the court with our Memphis Grizzlies. Memphis Grizzlies got handled last night by the Oklahoma City Thunder. Not many losses numb me like losing to the Thunder, man. And I was talking to Chris Ingram, host of No Bluffing podcast, about this on Twitter openly on the timeline. You can see that conversation. And the thing about Oklahoma City that hurts so much is that we were ahead of them. They got shy. They got Shay. I keep calling them. If you're 45 like me,
yes,
SHI is shy. I don't care what. I don't care what y'all say. It's shy.
I agree with that.
R&B group shy is shy. Like it's just like telling me the JODECI ain't Jodeci. Like it's Jodeci. Like I don't care what you say. If somebody comes to the league named Jodeci Williams, thinking they ain't Jodeci.
He said Jodeci.
be at the end of the chain. Asterisk.
An asterisk.
Had an asterisk in the E.
Yeah. Joe Desi Daniels. No, that nigga name is Jonas. I don't know who said.
That's why I love this show so much.
Yeah, man.
Who says Joe Desi?
I'm not calling that dude Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That man name is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I've been on record everywhere calling him Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I'm sorry, bro. Yeah, bro. If somebody's name is HTOWN, his name is not H-Town, H-Tone. It's H-Town. Like, come on, bro.
Oh boy.
I can't think of you of nothing else, bro.
That's it. I can't think of any either. Oh, that's funny, man.
112 is 112. Is that 112? Bro? It's 112. I mean, come on. Anyway, bro. Anyway, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander went to the Thunder the year after we got Ja Morant, and that young core started coming together. They had a couple years where they weren't good, where they were non-playoff teams, non-play-in teams, and now that team has become by far the best team in the West and probably the best team in the league. And it hurts as a Grizzlies fan, hurts as someone who covers the team to see H-Town in them, to see Jodeci in them, to be this much better than us, right? And a lot of our fans get frustrated because it's like, oh, we're tripling down on youth and all these type of things. And that Thunder team has as well. Like they did the same. They had the same exact path as we did outside of this offseason. This past offseason, they went and got iHeart and they went and got Caruso, right? So that's the first time they really got into those waters. And, we see them now looking really good. So our fans get frustrated. People who cover the team get frustrated as well, seeing that team be this much better than us. Like, we can say, well, we didn't have Jaren, or we didn't have this, but they still didn't have we haven't played them with Chet at all. Like that hadn't happened. We haven't even seen them full strength. We
didn't see Caruso last night. We didn't see Chet last night. The shit out of us, yeah. So that's frustrating when you feel like you're that far away from a team like that. So I mean, let's be frank about it, Ant. It was a 17-point loss last night, and most of the conversation coming out of the Grizzlies locker room was we saw progress. It's like y'all lost by 17 points, man. At home.
Yeah, man. I'll say we played. Ja Morant said they played well, bro. They just missed shots.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Yeah,
y'all lost by 17 points.
You missed shots.
This show, when I kind of did the little advertising for it on Twitter on Thursday, I said that I would be addressing somebody I've never addressed, right? But if you're tuning in thinking I'm going to be heavily one-sided on something, this isn't one of those type of shows. This is a show where I still want to keep some duality. I want to keep things in perspective, so to speak, because there's a lot of things that people are saying, and so some of the stuff I say, I just say shame on you, like for not kind of understanding what has happened in front of our eyes this season, as the season is going on, right? This is a team this year who we came in after a nightmare year last year, and in your heads you say, okay, Jaren had the best year of his career. He's going to be back. Desmond Bane dealt with injuries. He'll be back. Ja Morant dealt with injuries. He's gotten his mind right. We've seen just a totally different version of Ja. The rollout that he went on this summer, he was looking a lot different, a lot more mature. We started to empathize with Ja a lot. Ja had the civil stuff going on last year as well, and we started beginning to kind of empathize with him in a way, feeling like he would be back healthy. And then you had G.G. Jackson, Vince Williams Jr., two guys who really shined on this team during a nightmare season, right? And then this summer you add Zach Edey, a rookie who seems like would be somebody that would be a plug-and-play guy, two-time National Player of the Year. You wanted to get a big, and you got the biggest big available other than Kleiman, who you definitely probably wanted more than Zach Edey, right? And you say, okay, you know what? We get all these guys back. We see that Jake LaRavia is better than he's ever been. We see elements of that at the end of last year. All these things, Santi, he had a good year last year. He didn't have a good year last year, but you saw early he was primed for another good year. You get Brandon Clark back healthy. Luke Kennard, you got him back. And you look at this team and you say, this team is probably deeper than it's ever been, which is facts to this day. And you say, okay, this is a team that's primed to do something this year, right? We're going to avenge all the people that laughed at us last year, we're about to avenge last year, right? And it just has not been that season. Plus, you had Marcus Smart, right? Totally forgot about him. And it just hasn't been that year, man. And one of the biggest reasons why it hasn't been that year is that the person that we assumed that was going to have this MVP return, back from the dark. I heard all the stuff y'all said and all that. Our superhero, our Superman, Ja Morant just hasn't been that dude. And that's number one. That's not who I came to address today, but that is a factor we have to look at. I'll throw this out, and I've been a person that has defended Ja, who has stood in the gap for Ja, had defended him on a personal level, defended him on a basketball level, defended him on many ways. But something that we've been critical of Ja about is his off the court behavior, some of the things he's done just this season. Nothing like illegal or nothing that's worthy of suspension, but just being weird, right? Just doing weird things. But I also have to point out, I'm going to ask a real question, and this is just what it is, and I'll talk about some of the factors that probably led to that. But when was the last time we've had a key matchup against another elite guard in the NBA and Ja outdued his opponent? Ja's been on the losing end of every matchup like that this season. I don't mean particularly we lost the game, but every time we played the quasi-elite to elite guards, we've lost that game. I mean, Ja's lost that matchup is what I'm trying to say. And Ja said something yesterday in an interview. I'm not sure who asked the question about his health. That was Michael, right?
Yeah.
Ja stated that he probably should not have played last night. And that also he also said something that points to another issue with Ja that has really hampered this season. And that's his dedication to the script of staying true to social media, right? Like, Ja has been super responded to everything on social media. And it's like, Ja, the fact that Grizz Twitter as much as I do is concerning. You know what I mean? Like the fact that you know people by name and you remember stuff they said has always been concerning to me. And he made a statement last night saying that, if I didn't play, it would have been an issue. And if I play, it's an issue.
Mm-hmm.
The same kind of sentiments
Same thing, man.
Season. And I'm like, that should never be the case, bro. If you're not ready to play, just don't play. Like,
don't play. And be transparent about the injury. Like that's the real thing. Like when they released the report yesterday and they said it was deltoid contusion. I don't know, when I see that work, I don't know what it is, but I can Google that. Well, you just been shoulder soreness. Yeah, we like, all right, them ain't sore. You can play through that.
It's a rest day.
Right.
Because you can excuse any injury in the NBA. You can say, oh, he's out because of this. And that might be legit, but it might not be a real reason why that guy is not playing. Like,
exactly.
He probably could play with an injury. You can always put anything on the report. And when you say on the report, shoulder soreness, well, he had a serious shoulder injury. So,
yeah.
At any point during the season, you can sit Ja and say shoulder soreness, right? But we also have to keep in mind there was no bitch-ass injury that Ja Morant had. That shoulder injury is something that could linger throughout this season and possibly even down throughout his career. That's always going to be an issue. And if that's the case, just be transparent about it. Not just Ja. The team should be transparent. Like, this injury Ja has is going to be an issue. Like, it could be a reoccurring issue that could always hamper his availability and even hamper his game in games that he's deciding to play, like we've seen here lately. But we get no communication from the team. I'm not talking about a press release. There's no, when you talk to Taylor Jenkins, it's a bunch of nonsense. It's a word salad. You don't hear from Zach Kleiman. You definitely don't hear from Robert Parra. You don't hear from anybody. When last time we heard from Tayshaun Prince? You know what I mean? We used to hear from Tayshaun all the time, bro. Like, we don't hear from nobody. You know what I mean? Only person we hear is Brevin Knight, who we feel like is some kind of quasi connection to the front office. Like, we believe every time Brevin speaks, he's speaking something that he heard from them. Like, you know what I mean? And that's kind of where we are with the whole thing. But like I said, this team, I was having a conversation with one of my guys on Twitter, my guy E. Mason on Twitter, right? He was like, Oklahoma City really doesn't have a reason, to be this much better than us and all these type of things. And, if OKC when they got, just basic role player vets and now they're the best team in the league, we could have done the same thing. We could have got a Kelly Olynyk. We could have got this. And going back to Ja, we're totally escaping the fact that we're totally missing the fact that our best player Shai Gilgeous
is healthy.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he's healthy and he's playing on a fucking MVP level.
Right.
He's playing on an MVP level, bro. And Ja is nowhere near that this year. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that as a knock on Ja. I'm just saying it is what it is. Like Ja Morant, our best player, is not playing like our best player. I said a few weeks ago, it bothers me that Jaren Jackson Jr. is the best player on this team. It is not a recipe to win. That's not a recipe for a title contender. You know what I mean? Not if Ja's playing like this. Now, if Jaren's your best player and Ja was playing like he was an MVP year, I mean, give me that version of Jaren.
Championship.
You just described young, healthy Joel Embiid. That's what you just described. Like you just described an MVP level season. If Jaren's better than Ja and Ja is still Ja, I don't want Jaren to be Ja because Ja ain't Ja no more. You know what I mean? So those type of things happen, right? So, but I do want people to keep things in perspective. We'll talk about that the entire. We'll talk about the entire show. But we're gonna take a break. We're gonna talk about more things to keep it to perspective, man. Because there's two more people that have to get this work today. One that I've never done before. I need to take a break before I get into this one, man, because emotionally it's hurting me, Kenny. Stuff. It's painful to talk about the man I have to address because I created this man. And that should be a hint who I'm talking about. We'll take a break and we'll come back with more of the Anthony Sain Show. See you guys in a minute.
We got to be better in situational basketball if we're going to have any realistic chance of winning the playoff series. Fuck. We got to get to the playoffs. And we keep acting like, well, they're a playoff team. Shit, we're not. I don't see no X next to our name. I don't see no Y next to our name that says that you're in the playoffs. You're not in the playoffs yet. There is nothing that says that you won't be a play-in situation, play-in team. You cannot allow these games to slip away. You can't keep kicking the can down the road to think that this is going to get better.
Now you're getting down to, nuts and guts, as Elliot Perry would say. Your margin for error is slimmer, and your attention to detail has to be at an all-time high.
Let me tell you what the other thing is. Your players have to play.
Tune in to the Night Court Podcast with your hosts, Rob Fisher and Brevin Knight, on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Are they getting enough credit for their wins? We know that they get knocked for their losses, but are they getting enough credit for the wins that they had in their out-of-conference?
No, I mean, it's an easy answer of no, and I think, we can scold people for that and say that they're wrong or whatever, but it's just so far removed that people have trouble dipping back into November and December.
We were playing football then, Right, we were playing regular season football then.
Exactly. So people just have trouble dipping back into that. And kind of putting Memphis on the pedestal that they kind of deserve for what they did, and it's unfair. Like, I mean, it's not fair because they beat those teams, but at the end of the day, like it's just par for the course for Memphis.
Tune into On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Anthony Sain Show. You just saw a great commercial featuring Ghost GM of the Memphis Grizzlies, Brevin Knight, sharing his insight. But we really, some guy on Twitter was like, Brevin said something criticizing the team. I haven't watched other day's episode of Night Court, but Brevin said something. And it was like, yeah, Brevin said it. It must have been his all-out initiative to go ahead. I was like really, people really be talking like Brevin is an extension of the front office, like they just use him to do the evil biddings or whatever. So
I love it. Brevin's a professional.
Oh yeah, man, for sure. Yeah.
And it's so funny because like every once in a while you get that New Jersey come out in him.
Oh, for sure. Remember he did say he was a nigga from New Jersey. Exact quote. That's an exact quote.
Go back to the introductory interview.
Matter of fact, he said he's just a nigga from New Jersey.
When he gets going, you'll hear him start to rant, and then all of a sudden you hear the New Jersey come out. I mean, he's like, there ain't no Y next to our name. There ain't no Y next to our name. Like,
ain't no X.
Ain't no X.
But here's a situation where the Grizzlies could fall into the plan. Like that very well could happen. Especially not knowing how long Jaren's going to be out. They literally might decide to shut Ja down to the playoffs. You know what I mean? Or to shut him down for a couple weeks to get some healing on that shoulder or whatever. Like, who knows, bro? Like, we could be looking stupid out here for real. But it is that time, Kenny Stubblefield, Perry Sharkey. Gentlemen, I'll tell y'all a story, man. I'm going to take y'all back to 2018, 2019. The Memphis Grizzlies had Mike Conley Jr. on their roster. They had Marc Gasol on their roster. And the Grizzlies made a trade, right? Trade that sent Marc Gasol to the Toronto Raptors. We got back Jonas Valanciunas. We got back C.J. Miles. We got back what's the guy who was 2 years away from me and 2 years away?
Bruno.
No, he wasn't in that trade.
I don't think he was in that trade, but he was 2 years away from me. So that was him. He came from Toronto, but he wasn't in the trade. He signed as like a.
He wasn't in that trade. We signed up for and we got
what's the guard? The guy, DeLon Wright. DeLon Wright.
We got DeLon Wright. I want to say somebody else came in that deal too. Some other vet, something came in that deal.
We had a 2024 second round pick in 2018, 2019.
So you traded Marc Gasol, right? And I had a little birdie that's connected to the team tell me these moves that you're seeing us make.
I know the other player. Ahead, I don't know if it was that trade, but we got him in that same trade deadline. Avery Bradley came to the Grizzlies for.
Avery Bradley.
I don't know. He came from Toronto. It was another trade or it was a 3-team trade or something. But he came at this.
Something with Charlotte happened. Something with Charlotte happened in that deal too. I can't remember what it was. Something went to Charlotte and we got Avery Bradley because that's where he was. He was with Charlotte.
He was Charlotte.
Yeah. But Lil Birdie told me that he said, "Man, there's what you see is not what you seeing is not what you think you're seeing. Like this ain't Chris Wallace making those moves, right?" And he basically said, "Man, you remember when Chris Wallace fumbled the whole Dylan Brooks,
Marshawn Brooks
for Kelly Oubre,
yeah.
So you remember that went down? He said that didn't really go well with Robert Perry and other people in power, right? So there's this guy who's like a team lawyer or some shit, right? So he's like a dude that's kind of been hanging around, just kind of been in the trenches, kind of being close enough, like being within arm's reach of everybody, right? He's kind of worked his way in, and I'm telling you, he's not the GM on paper, but that dude's making decisions around here. I said, for real? I said, who is he? He says a dude named Zach Kleiman. Look him up. I said, oh shit. I said, this is a pretty safe looking dude here. He was like, he's young, man. He's like, 31, like shit, man, for real. So yeah, young dude, man, just kind of hanging around. He used to be like the team's lawyer or some shit like that. But I'm telling you, that dude is involved in the decision making. So I put this guy's picture on Twitter. People was like, saying, who is this unassuming looking white guy you just posted? And I was like, hey, just stay tuned, bro. Just stay tuned, right? That's when I used to kind of like tease stuff that I knew. I don't give y'all shit now. I don't even talk about it on here. Yeah, I might sometimes. But anyway. So they were telling me about this guy, Zach Kleiman, right? And I don't delete tweets, so that tweet's still out there from 2018 or whatever, 19, whatever year it was. So he comes in that summer, he becomes general manager of the team. So people's like, damn, Sain knew about this dude, he knew he was on it or whatever. I don't get those kind of props nowadays. That's a whole nother episode. I'm not here for a therapy session. I'm not y'all. How soon y'all forget who your tribal chief is and was? But yeah, let me not get into those type of conversations now. But then that summer he became GM, made moves that looked very smart for this team. Traded Mike Conley, got 2 first-round picks, drafted John Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr. And also, for those of you who don't know, Zach Kleiman was responsible for the Jaren Jackson Jr. pick. Chris Wallace, who was GM at the time, had a total different person that was on his mind to draft. And I'm telling you, it would have been a franchise-altering draft if he had drafted this person instead of Jaren Jackson Jr. It would blow your mind if you knew who this person was. Let me just say this person, if he's in the league, he's barely in the league, or he just got back in the league. The people on the show know what I'm talking about. But the person that Chris Wallace was going to draft was not Jaren Jackson Jr. And the person he was lobbying for was not Jaren Jackson Jr. And because the person he was lobbying for, he was told, you won't make the pick. Zach and his guys are going to make the pick this year. Get your ass in the corner somewhere. Go scout something. Parents, I think I've told you who this is. You might be.
Please tell me, though.
I'll say who it is.
Yeah, tell us out there.
Yeah, I'll tell you out there. I'm not going to say who it is. But anyway, Zach Kleiman was acting, for all intents and purposes, as the GM in the second half of the 2018-19 season. Had a good, offseason, did a lot of things. He just moved around the edges. Got Anthony Melton for basically nothing. Just kind of built that team, right? That young team that went to the play-in their first season.
Traded up and got Brandon Clark in the first round, too.
Yeah, all those things. Yeah, the first offseason, right? Got Desmond Bane the next year, all that. And from that, he was given the moniker, the title of King Kleiman in my eyes. Kenny and Parrish. And he even had the T-shirts that I dropped. And I was told to stop selling those.
I was about to say that. That's when everything changed.
That was the first of many saying stop doing that. I got from this current regime, right?
That's the beginning. That's the beginning of the end.
That's the beginning
of the end. The King Kleiman shirt. Like, catch you. Real nigga to real nigga. Catch you. Take that shit. Take that shit off your page. Yes, sir. I got you. Yes, sir, Mr. Kleiman. But the King Kleiman moniker was birthed by me. I'm gonna start copywriting this. The next cold shit I say, bro, I'm copywriting this shit. Matter of fact, I might just start copywriting shit y'all say. Well, I don't mean these two. I mean people who listen. The nicknames I be putting on folks, I'm gonna start copywriting this shit because I know I made up Dylan the Villain. I made that shit up, and that shit was perfect. Like it was out there. I made up Dylan the Villain.
Perfect.
I made up King Kleiman. I ain't made a dime off none of this shit. I should have bought both of them motherfuckers a long time ago.
The NBA used Dylan the Villain last year when he was in Houston.
I was like, bro, I'm supposed to be a rich man.
I'm supposed to be
Dylan Brooks.
I'm supposed to have a real brick wall behind me.
Right. Knock on wood. Knock on whatever this shit. Stucco. What's this shit called? You know, Paris, you build shit. Paris be getting shit built.
Stucco. Yeah.
Bluff City Media supposed to be well funded right now.
Yeah. What are we talking?
I'm too stupid to go get a fucking trade bar for the cold shit that coming out of my mouth. Oh man.
Man.
Oh man. So anyway, I've been a Zach Kleiman guy. I'm always been a fan of someone who I feel is intelligent, who can evaluate talent and build a team. And he did a great job of it. He took this team from being ass to being a very good team with young stars, squeezing blood from a turnip, bro, turning a late first round pick into Desmond Bain and going to get Brandon Clark. And the list goes on. There's just guys he's hit, just diamonds in the rough. Second round talent. All these guys he's got. But my good friend Peter Emerson, which I did a sports radio show at one time with, said at one time, the biggest challenge for Zach Kleiman and his Grizzlies front office is not taking them from bad to good, but for taking them from good to great.
Right.
And Zach Kleiman has failed in that area. There's no doubt about it. He took a big swing for Marcus Smart, sent out multiple first-round picks for Marcus Smart, and then had to pay to get rid of him this year just to get rid of him. Like you're one of your most movable contracts to say, if I'm going to trade for player X, I need this contract to make that happen. He got rid of that guy for nothing because his trade value was that low. And he probably wasn't willing to use him to overpay, sending out multiple first-round picks to get a Cam Johnson and those type of things. And then at the trade deadline, he made a statement, and he said, now here's the thing. I'm not going to put Zach Kleiman on the line because people have kind of taken this thing and kind of made him like he's a liar. I see this all the time because he said, like, we're a team that's going to be willing to go into the tax. And we have not gone into the tax since he said that. That's because of one or two things. I never thought that this team would go into the tax in the preparation of a good season. I never thought they would go into the tax to say, okay, we're going to go into the tax to make this team good. I never thought that was what he meant or what they would ever do. I always thought that meant like, okay, we were good. We had a nice playoff run. I'll go into the tax next year to keep that going.
Yeah.
Or to go to the next level.
Right.
I never saw them as the organization that would say, let's go get Kelly Olynyk so we can so we can be better or go into the tax to get him. I never thought they would be the type of team that would do that. Neither have I criticized them for not doing it. I've never been the guy to say, let's go into the tax just to be going into the tax. Let's go add another mid-level contract so we can be taxpayers, just so we can say we're taxpayers. I've always thought they would be in response to a good season the year before that they would go into the tax. I'm not a fan of going to the tax if you're not a legit contender to win something. So I've never really criticized them for that.
Or you're not bringing back a player who could put you on the top.
Right.
Like a Jimmy
and
Butler,
when
Kevin Durant,
right.
those types. Yeah.
Right. And when you have 3 max level players that may not be on max level contracts, but when you know those contracts are coming and you know NBA math, which they clearly know NBA math, that statement about saying we're not afraid of being taxpayers, that's because you know you got to pay Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, and Jaren Jackson Jr. And those three guys alone are your entire salary cap. Those three salaries alone are going to put you in the tax when you get all said and done paying those guys. But I do have a problem with Zach Kleiman, and I do have smoke for him today because you made statements this year, right after the trade deadline, that I think Jaren, Bane, and Ja are the leaders of this team, and I don't think we need vet leadership. And brother, I agree with you. You're about to have almost $200 million per year in salary going out to Jaren Jackson Jr., Ja Morant, and Desmond Bane in a couple of years. When you extend Jaren, you got some big money going into those three dudes. Those three guys are supposed to be your three best leaders. Right?
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to have, a short little crazy dude that comes in and takes bad shots and stays hurt. That guy shouldn't have to be on your roster for you to have leadership on this team. Like you've got three guys who are three very good players that you're about to pay a lot of money to. Those three guys should be your leaders. I'm gonna make that a totally different conversation, right? Because that's gonna come into something else I'm gonna talk about when I talk about Taylor Jenkins. Because I'm not gonna throw out smoke without putting Taylor Jenkins in the line of fire. But on another note, he also said, I'm clearing the way for my young guys. I believe in G.G. Jackson. I believe in Vince Williams. I believe in Zach Edey. I believe in Jalen Wells, right? Brother, we ain't seen it. We ain't seen belief in it. And like I said, either you're full of shit what you said to us, or you and Taylor Jenkins just ain't on the same page. Because if that's what you're trying to do, if the moment he said that, I said, okay, well, let me just pump the brakes because I no longer have championship expectations. I stopped having those a while ago anyway. Yep. But when you say, okay, screw the veteran stuff, I believe in my young guys, you're saying, okay, I think I've identified a 6 to 8, 9-man core on this team of guys that are part of a team that will be a championship team. I see an 8-man rotation of guys that are on this roster right now. Brother, I can get with you if that's what you think you see. But that's not what I've seen followed through with since you made that statement. And that's the problem I have with Zach Kleiman. If that's what you think, that's what you think. And I also think that at the deadline, when you added a guy like Marvin Bagley, who's got better career numbers than Brandon Clark, that you saw a guy because Brandon Clark's contract is bad. I don't care how good he's been for this team. His contract is weird. Like him being on a $15 million year
12
deal.
And a half.
It's questionable if he's that level player right now. You know what I mean? And I could definitely see a scenario where Marvin Bagley could have been a guy who you saw, hey, that dude had a nice little 20-something game run with us, even got a couple playoff minutes for us. I could see us saying, okay, we can't move John Conchard's contract. Let's partner that with Brandon Clark. We got Bagley. Let's move on for Brandon Clark. I could see that scenario. In a perfect world, I could see that scenario happening, right? And I could see that even though we did a salary dump for Marcus Smart, I could see Zach Kleiman seeing value in Marvin Bagley. And the fact that he has not played at all, really, and he didn't play in garbage time games, that doesn't seem like that him and Kleiman, it doesn't seem like Kleiman and Taylor Jenkins are on the same page. They can't be. Like, they literally can't be, right? And the fact that, brother, like, I'm not mad at you saying, because of some of the things we talked about with Ja Morant, right? Some of the things that we talked about with injuries and all these type of things. I can see why you say, okay, we're good as shit, man, but I don't think we're a championship level team. Let's get Marcus Smart the hell out of here. Let's get Jacob Laurie out of here. I've identified my guys who I think are the rotation of a championship level team. Luke Kennard, you're a free agent this summer. I don't really give a damn about you. Whatever, bro. Whatever. Jay Huff, cool, fine. Scottie Pippen Jr., whatever. But I think he identified Jaren, Bane, Edey, Vince, GG, Jalen Wells,
Brandon
and
Clark.
Santi. I think those are his. Maybe Brandon Clark.
But Santi for sure.
Right. Those 7 dudes, 8 dudes, that's 8 dudes. Those 8 dudes are 8 guys I think are part of a championship team, whether it be this year, next year, somewhere in the next 2 or 3 year window while these guys are under contract. I think this is a championship level team. I am not mad at Zach Kleiman for thinking that way. Because like I said, the NBA ain't ending this season. And because Ja Morant is not our best, he's our best player, but not playing nowhere near best player level, and he's got all this shoulder stuff, he's got all this hip stuff, he's got all this wearing fucking shiesties on the side of the court, he's got all this weird shit going on with him and worried about Twitter and all that. We're not in the level of being a championship level team. And that would be the same if you wouldn't have got Dorian Finney-Smith. It would be the same if you wouldn't have got Cam Johnson. It would be the same if you wouldn't have got Kelly Olynyk to be your true big or whoever you went and got or Jimmy Butler. Whatever. If Ja Morant is this version of Ja Morant, you ain't winning nobody's championship. All the other stuff we're talking about don't mean shit. Ja Morant is the best player on this team, and he's nowhere near the level he needs to be for us to be a championship level team. And that's not a knock at Ja. It just is what it is, bro. When I saw Ja tapping his shoulder and jittering and shaking and shit, we should have known, yeah, that's the season. Like Ja ain't right. And when he got the hip and we were crying about the Lakers with the foul and Jake the Raven threw that crazy ass pass, yeah, this ain't the season we thought it was gonna be. You know what I mean? And that's not a knock at Ja. It just is what it is. Because of something that's happened with him this year, we're not going to be a championship level team. So Zach Kleiman, I'm with you for saying, you know what? Let me get some of this other shit out the way. Let me put this team in the best position to be good for years to come. I don't want contracts that are going to have us paying out the ass where we can't make moves if we needed to. I'm not mad at that, but that's not happening. That's not what I'm seeing in front of my face. I'm seeing G.G. Jackson after game, first 3 games after the trade deadline, rolling, scoring 12, 15, 20-something points. And now all of a sudden he can't play. Like now you're telling me because he can't defend, he can't play. When I've seen David Roddy play in the playoffs, I saw Zaire Williams be starting small forward for this team and just get minutes that weren't explainable. I saw Jake LaRavia closing games this year. So I don't want to hear this shit about what G.G. Jackson can't do, right? Because bottom line, you have to play him because that's who you have. You made a statement saying that you believe in these guys. You have to play G.G. Jackson. No matter how bad he's looking, you have to play him because you just told me that he has to be developed. And the fact that y'all aren't saying nothing at all concerns me. The fact that Taylor Jenkins is a goofball and there's nothing, you don't even feel like we assume that Taylor Jenkins is gone if this team doesn't make it to the playoffs. But like I said in the beginning of the season, you should have identified that in November, December. Those same habits we saw back then are the same goofy shit you're seeing now, except for it's worse. We're still making progress. We're still trying shit. We're still not playing Marvin Bagley against the Spurs and against the Hawks, but he's fucking coming in the first wave rotation against the fucking Oklahoma City Thunder. Like, it doesn't make any sense. We're still trying shit, bro. We're still rolling shit out. We're still doing this and doing that and closing games with Luke Kennard. It's a third guard on the court. And now I'm closing with Zach Edey playing some weird ass, not guarding nobody defense. Like we're playing this defense in the games where nobody's guarding anybody. Some weird ass zone looking defense, and it doesn't make any sense, bro. And that's my critique I have for Zach Kleiman. If you're identified to say, hey, if you're punting this season and say, hey, you know what, we're gonna take one more mulligan year, and we're gonna come back. I think these guys, because somebody asked me today, why do I say? Francis Carlotta asked me. He was saying that I don't see a championship level team if you're gonna double down on youth. I said, no, I'm not. I said, bro, I can't agree with that. He asked me when do I think they'll be ready. I said, it might be ready next year. I said, Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Desmond Bane were all playoff contributors in year 2 or 3. Jaren wasn't Jaren's first year, whatever. He wasn't with Ja in them. But all those guys within year 2 or year 3 were playoff contributors on a good team. That could be Gigi. That could be Vince. That could be Edey, whatever. We'll have to see. But like I said, those guys clearly aren't ready for nothing. And that's something else that when people were talking, I was like, yeah, we talking Vince and Gigi. Ain't neither one of them dudes played in no real games. We don't know what they're going to do. And we're seeing now they're not ready for that. But if you think they will be ready, cool. But we're not seeing a path even cleared for that to happen, really. We're still doing goofy stuff with the rotation.
Yeah.
Go ahead, bro. I've been talking nonstop for an hour. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to add on to that. And that was my takeaway from the OKC game. When I left that game, and he played like Gigi, I'm even adding Scottie Pippen Jr. in this, right? And the reason I am is because if Ja Morant seriously hurt, you lean to the youth, start Scottie Pippen Jr. instead of starting Desmond Bane, Luke Kennard. When Ja Morant's out, like, go on ahead, like, let's get these reps in for all these young guys that you basically put all your eggs in the basket for. Playing Gigi only 5 minutes. That San Antonio game, he only played 10 minutes. Like,
stupid.
Played like you laid the foundation saying, I trust these young guys. Roll the ball out and play with them. Because OKC is doing it. OKC only added Caruso.
They gotta get their bumps, bro.
Right. Hartenstein is 26. He's still young. Caruso is the only veteran they added. Like, so guess what? They played their guys. They got better.
You gotta play them, bro. Like, you can't. And shout out to Fred Wells, definitely a friend of the show, for the quotes that he had going crazy.
He had a whole had a whole 4-page article in there one tweet.
in a typical old head fashion, who's probably still learning social media, he said all this in reply to a tweet that had nothing to do with what he was saying. I put a tweet out asking what are Taylor Jenkins' strengths, and that brother just went on a rant. But that had nothing to do with it. But shout out to Fred Wells, said a lot of stuff. There's some things that he's pointing out that I'll let y'all decode if you like. Some stuff that, may have some truth to it, you know what I mean? But the whole leadership thing, we'll close the show and we'll talk about the leadership of the team. Make sure you guys are subscribing. Also, shout out to Molly Morrison. Great episode we had last week. Go check that out as well on Bluff City Media. Great interview with her. And she was on Taylor Jenkins' ass too. And the show wouldn't be right if I didn't get on Taylor Jenkins' ass before we close out.
Again.
But right. Fred Wells was talking about leadership, right? And I had this conversation on Twitter today as well. Jaren, Ja, Desmond Bane, great players. They're not cut out to be like leaders. Like, this ain't Jimmy Butler, Michael Jordan, and Kobe Bryant. Like, that's not who these dudes are, bro. Like, they're not the guys that are on and off the court are just going to be those dogs who they're just not wired that way. And I had a conversation with somebody. They're not. We don't have that dude on this team. And the whole thing of go get vet role players. You can't go get vet role players and develop Vince, Gigi, and Jalen at the same time. Like, if you go get those dudes, those guys become nobodies. They become guys you could have just traded. And that's the thing, too. We were told at the deadline that basically we didn't make moves for certain guys because it would have required to move a Gigi, move a Jalen, to move a Vince. If you didn't make the moves, they're also not developing these dudes and letting them go. What are we talking about then, bro?
Right.
And I'm going to point this back to Taylor Jenkins, man. I'm going to make one final analogy. I was talking to my boy Rusty Buckets, right? And he's so – Rusty just feels like he's got a family, man. You can just tell a dude. Yep. You can tell a dude.
Yep.
Kind of felt like he was on his own, man. As a white guy in his late 30s, whatever age he is, in this Memphis area who does media, to be the guy who's like, man, get Taylor Jenkins' ass out of here. He stepped out on the island by himself, man. I think he's found home. He's found family within us, man. He feels supported because he been getting this shit off about Taylor Jenkins, bro.
Well,
go ahead.
Another part of it too that he's been doing is we kind of empowered him to do the Ask Dr. Buckets thing.
Oh man,
he's good.
And his thing with that yesterday, the whole jaw injury, when he came out yesterday and said, "Yeah, y'all know that deltoid contusion ain't got nothing to do with that AC joint issue, right?" I was like,
for real?
Oh.
Hey, you gonna get a call about Dr. Buckets from the Grizzlies, hey, man. Look, we need y'all to stop breaking all these industry secrets.
I was like, Ask Dr. Buckets might be getting himself into some trouble.
Dr. Buckets. Got it, man. Dr. Buckets. He fucking up shit over there, man.
They gonna be able to keep
but I'm gonna share. Yeah, man, talking too much. Hey, we've been throwing out bullshit injury names for years.
Shoulder soreness, AC joint soreness.
Who is this guy?
It's actually deltoid contusion. You know that ain't got nothing to do with the AC joint, right?
He's got a loose Joe Desi joint. Oh no, not the Joe Desi joint.
Not the Joe Desi.
Not the Joe Desi ligament.
Not the Joe Desi ligament. The apostrophe.
Right. Oh, it's got the apostrophe too. Oh, he's fucked. Yeah, man. But I was talking to Buckets, right? And I made this analogy, and this is a perfect analogy for how I see Taylor Jenkins in this whole leadership situation, right? As you all know, I'm pretty transparent about my personal life, except for some shit. I ain't telling y'all shit. I've kind of learned that over time. But if some stuff is out there, so I might as well talk about it, right? So I'm a divorced man. I'm also a co-parent. Gabe has no knowledge, no memory of me and my ex-wife ever being married, right? He saw a picture of me and Stephanie on our wedding day. It was like, what in the shit is this shit? Like, he was looking, Gabe was like, when the hell did y'all go together? He was like, what is this bullshit, right? So I'm a co-parent. But in Gabe's eyes, I am the most amazing dude in the world. He thinks I'm this superior parent. He thinks I'm just this super cool dude, right? And when most people who talk to me, they don't know that Gabe doesn't live with me. They think Gabe lives with me and not his mom. And they think that Sain's just such a great parent. On the inside, I'd be like, man, I'm the biggest goofball parent. Like, Gabe comes to my house, eats nothing but bullshit, like stays up late, plays video games, eats pizza, eats wings, eats candy. I take him out to eat. His mom's like, I do not take Gabe out to eat at all. Like, every meal that you take every meal Gabe eats with you, he's at some restaurant I see. He was like, we rarely go out to eat. Gabe only gets that stuff with you. I also only give Gabe one soda a week or something like that. I think he gets soda like maybe one time out the week. Man, Gabe drink more bullshit. Like Gabe comes over here, bro. It's just I'm with my dad. It's a fun experience. Part of that is what's they call it, something like just co-parent guilt or something, like, whatever. And part of it is like, bro, I just don't know nothing about all that shit. Like, all I know how to do is have fun with my kid. I'm gonna give y'all a sad answer to the same fact. I've never helped Gabe with homework one day in this kid's life. I've never seen one book. I ain't never seen no homework. I've never done none of that with Gabe. When he's with me, it's all fun, fucking dad field trip. That's all it is with me, right? But if you ask Gabe, Gabe is gonna say, man, my dad's fucking amazing. He's never gonna say nothing bad about me. I'm gonna compare that to Taylor Jenkins, bro. At the end of the day, you got to be a grown man as parent with that kid. And the conversation I've had, some long-running conversation I've had with me and Stephanie is, oh shit, I didn't say my fucking name. Take that out, Ken. But anyway, the conversation I've had, because I can't imagine the shit that'll come to her from you, Quam listeners and all that kind of shit.
You Quam ass mother.
But anyway, bro, I had a conversation with her, long-going conversation. Our plan when we got divorced was that at a certain age, we haven't determined what that age is, but Gabe would come live and I would be the custodial parent, where he stays with me more than he stays with her. This is a conversation we've always been prepping for, right? But when that day comes, I'll have to be ready to be that type of parent. And it also, I would prefer to have a spouse, have a woman that can come in and help me cultivate Gabe and, hey, baby, help Gabe do this goddamn homework because I still ain't doing that shit, right? You know what I mean? Like, I want to be that type of parent. And I look at Zach Kleiman as being like the Department of Human Service or the Child Protection Agency or whatever, right? And I'm like, bro, it's your job to make sure our team is handled in the best way. They're not just being with the parent to let them stay up all night, let them drink Kool-Aid and eat cookies and candy and eat wings and play video games and ain't doing any homework. And you took a bath today? How you smell? All right, take one tomorrow. You can't be that type of parent. You can't be that type of GM, right? But you're allowing, and fans get so caught up in this whole, well, the players like him. Guess what? They've never known any other coach. Like, of course they like him. He's me. He's that type of co-parent, right? He's that type of parent. But there's another version of me where I could be better at what I'm doing. And I'm sure Gabe would like that person too. Or he might not like that person. But the thing is, it's going to be better for him. Yeah. It's going to be better for him.
Wow.
And we've sat back for 6 years. Oh, the guys like Taylor. Of course they do. He's the young, cool babysitter who comes over and lets them stay up all night. Like the parents left food out. He puts that food in the garbage disposal and he orders pizza. He's that coach, right? But that doesn't mean that he's the answer to nothing, man. Like, and you see it. Ja gets mad. Ja's complaining about a call. Taylor Jenkins right there with him. You can either call it he's crying just like Ja crying. You can just say, oh, look at him defending this guy. Or you can be like, man, look at him being over emotional. He should be like, Ja, get your crazy ass back on defense.
I was just about to say that. Like,
man, bro.
Get back on defense. Like, I was just about to say
he indecisive, players indecisive, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
And it's like, you got
that's a hell of an analogy, man.
We can easily point it. I hear people saying things like, man, you got to put it on the players. How? This is the only leadership they've ever had. They are the results of their leadership, man.
Yeah.
And there's things sometimes with Gabe where I'm like, damn, bro. Like when Gabe does goofball shit, I'm looking like, Gabe, you gotta stop doing it. I'm like, fuck, man, he got that for me. Like,
you got to do it. You got to
like,
the way.
Like I can't. I'm not going if Jaws walked into the game backwards, like being goofy, like that's the culture of the organization, but that's the culture of the team. You know what I mean? If any of this goofy stuff, bro, like if you watch the sideline and just see some of the goofy stuff that's going on with this team, like laughing when we're losing, all that, that's coming from leadership, man. This is a team that actually needs leadership. I talked to somebody with the organization one time, and they said that when Zebo, Tony, and them, when Mike Conley and them were here, and Marc Gasol, that team didn't have no leaders either. Like Zebo and them, they ended up being those dudes, but when they first started, them dudes was Zebo was fucking a clown. Tony was a clown. Watch the documentary. I ain't seen it, but I guarantee you watch that video, you be like, damn, Tony sure was a clown. Like, I'm sure you go watch the documentary, I'm sure you're gonna feel that way. Mike Conley definitely wasn't the leader. Marcus All, no. That team's leader was freaking Lionel Hollins, bro, and they hated his ass. You know what I mean? He wasn't like, oh, that's big bro Lionel. You know what I mean? No, he was a crazy ass dude, and he ruled that team like a disciplinarian. And if we get somebody with actual championship mentality, we will see a totally different version of this Grizzlies as constructed, bro. As constructed, you'll see a different version of this team. And I guarantee you'll see a different version of this team. And the thing is, why are we surprised that Taylor Jenkins thing isn't working? I told y'all at the beginning of the year, y'all are betting against history. Y'all are betting for something that don't happen, bro. You're betting for a guy who to come in as a new coach, never coached before, head coach, come in with a new team, build that team up, and then lead that team to a championship. That's some storybook shit that just don't happen in the NBA. 99 times out of 100, a coach is hired, fired, they bring in a better guy, they go win a championship. That has happened a million times in my life. I've seen what people want Taylor Jenkins to happen maybe twice. Mike Malone is the only one I can think of off the top of my head. And he wasn't no new coach. He went to Sacramento and got fired there.
Yeah,
he came to Denver. Yeah. Y'all literally want something to happen that has never happened in the history of the NBA with Taylor Jenkins. And now you're surprised that it ain't happened, that it's looking crazy. But I've been talking for an hour, and I don't do that no more.
I love it. I mean, I think it definitely, that analogy was perfect, by the way. Like,
who gives a shit about them liking him? Like, that means shout out to my boy Memphis X, man. He's a content creator as well. I forgot to shout him out the other day too, and I was shouting out black content creators. My guy Memphis X is a YouTuber as well. He said it's a perfect thing. Like, bro, the fact that we say the players like Taylor Jenkins is the biggest red flag on Taylor Jenkins' resume. That the players like him.
Wow. I just, and to me, you see it being played out on the court with the same mistakes over and over.
Because we don't like him while we're being mature. We don't like him while we're doing smart shit. We don't like him while we're being leaders. We like him while we're doing goofball shit, while we're looking weak as hell, while we're getting manhandled by teams that are better than us, while we're getting out physical by teams that are better than us, while playing bad defense. Hey, we love our coach, though. We're not loving our coach while we're being excellent on the court. Anyway, bro.
Could you imagine if I mean, I think two things can be true. Ja Morant's whistle.
Shout out to Coach Corner, man. Free advertising.
Let's go.
Send me a check.
Shout out. You look at Ja and you go, two things can be true. Insane whistle. His whistle is insane. Like the lack of whistle that he gets is insane.
He's also gained a reputation that has all these refs like, dude, fuck you. Like, for real, like, we're totally, like my boy Micah was talking about, man, I wish you'd go back to that 2021-22 season. That's the season why refs hate us also. Keep that in mind. That's the reason why we get no calls that season. We were dancing all over the place, talking shit and talking crazy to refs. And how soon we forget that Ja Morant got in a microphone and called a referee sassy, said, yo, little sassy ass. And that referee fraternity is fraternity just like NBA player fraternity. And Ja saying that we forget about that type of stuff, but that kind of stuff happens. Anyway, go ahead, bro.
Could you just imagine, though, if under Lionel Hollins, what would have happened if Ja had consistently not gotten back on defense the way that he consistently does every single game?
And when Ja first pulled that gun out, Lionel would have pulled a gun out on him and said, "Motherfucker, look, we need you to be the best player on this team. Stop being a goofball."
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead, man.
Lionel Hollins isn't the answer, but there's but that kind of
kind of coaches don't even exist. Like, but you can find a guy that can be, that type of dude. Are there other? Lionel Hollins was a former player, point guard. Hard-nosed dude, big-time defender, brash, say what he got to say. Dudes like that around. Sam Cassell is one of those type of dudes. J.J. Redick was one of those type of dudes, right?
Man.
Like, J.J. Redick ain't no crazy, dude or whatever. At least I don't think he is. But he's a smart basketball mind. He's a leader. He sets the standard. That Lakers team got Luka Doncic fat ass playing defense. So, you know what I mean? Say what you want, bro.
Yep. Oh, God. Anyway, yeah.
Hey, bro. We're cooking today, bro. Hey, this might be one of the all-time great episodes because we just tell them like what it is, bro. For real though.
No,
for real though.
Yeah, it's tough. I think we're in a weird. It is, and I know that things change, right? Like I know that conversations that happen, at the trade deadline, we're banking on our youth again. Gigi Jackson's my guy. Jalen Wells,
and not for this year. Like common sense tell you not at that point. The run for a championship ain't it because even if you had a win and got what's my boy Cam Johnson. Zach Edey ain't there. Like he ain't the center you need now. Like he's not a championship winner.
He shows flashes of some really good shit.
Yeah,
really good shit.
He ain't the answer. He's trying to win.
He's playing like a rookie. He has his highs and lows.
Yeah.
But
the issue I think is, and I think I've seen it, and I don't have any inside information on this. I think I've seen it on the court, body language wise. Gigi's not being serious right now out there.
No.
And I think that there's a level of some of the. I'll tell you this: I am so tired of seeing him make mistakes on the court defensively, and then hold up his hand and be like, "My bad, motherfucker, fix that shit. Stop." Like my bad, dude.
Yeah.
The over the backboard shot yesterday is super unserious.
Oh, bro, I saw this shit, bro. I'm like, bro, what am I watching?
So Manfield asked him about it, bro. He was like, bro, I gotta ask you about this.
All praises to Jesus. All praise to Jesus. I was shooting for the clouds, shooting for the heavens, and asking God to help me with the.
He heard somebody, like the clock is running down. He heard somebody in the crowd say, "Man, shoot the ball."
Hey, bro, you know who I want our next guest on the show to be?
Last night.
You know who I want our next guest on the show to be? Whoever that lady is that's been in FedEx Forum for probably 15 years at least, who goes 5, 4, 3.
Oh yeah,
and you hear over everybody. Who the fuck is that lady, bro? Okay, you hear her count down over everybody, like over the whole arena. But anyway, bro, I'm gonna say this about Gigi. My biggest concern with him, and I don't want this to offend nobody, but I'm just gonna tell y'all real facts. Y'all hate the real facts when they come out my mouth. But I ain't been wrong about none of this shit. This is my concern with Gigi. Gigi presents himself as this really, devout Christian kid or whatever. I'm not saying that's not who he is, but 99 times out of 100, that person turns into somebody else. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Like the person who comes in with the, all praise Jesus, churchy. I play drums in front of Dad's church. That person is going to become somebody. Is he going to be Dwight Howard? Is he going to be Steph Curry? Is he going to be Wayne Simeon, who put down the league to go be a pastor? Is he going to be super MAGA, black MAGA?
Jonathan Isaac.
Is he going to be Jonathan Isaac? Yeah, like, where does he go from there? Because right now he's like a little egg, a little Christian egg. He's just a little Christian, egg, right? It is harvesting, right? And
this is coming from 3 dudes who are Christians.
Christians, right? Right. We're all Christians. But that's kind of like a novice energy he gives off. Like, he's overzealous, like he's a kid, like whatever. But that where he is now is gonna grow, come out of that shell and become somebody. It might be super freaky ass. If you got a hole I wanted, Dwight Howard, you might be whoever. It might be Steph Curry, who he kind of found balance in his life. He's still a believer, but kind of balanced out. Got some weird shit. Got making crazy ass movies, TV shows that offend black people. But that's either here or there. But
or it could be Jonathan. Or it could be Jonathan.
It could be Jonathan Isaac. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna turn into something. Or he could be the guy who says, "Oh, I'm done with the NBA. Let me go be a pastor." Like what's the other kid who just did that? Man. For the Pacers. Not for the Pacers.
Keon Doolin.
No. He had a mental health stuff going on. The kid who just did this. Athletic kid, played for Atlanta Hawks, and they let him go.
Griffin, AJ
Griffin
or something.
AJ Griffin.
Like he's gonna the version we see of Gigi now is gonna become something. He's not gonna be the little cute bubbly kid. Praise Jesus. Jesus. I got this Bible verse I always live by. Like he's gonna turn into something. Like it might, like I said, it might be Dwight. It might be something. That's my concern with him because what is when he breaks out of that little egg? What is he gonna turn into? That's my biggest fear with Gigi. Like, okay, bro. All right, bro. What are you about to be, man? What's your final form? You know what I mean? So. I hope he's a whole lot more Steph Curry and, not something I just mentioned. But, man, we about to get up out of here. It's been a good show. Great show, as a matter of fact. Make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you share this joint, like, comment. Anything you didn't agree with, I'll take that too. Whatever. We appreciate the interaction from you guys. Man, we coming up on show 200. Going to be, maybe in the middle of the playoffs, we're going to hit 200 maybe?
Probably.
18 shows. What's that, 9 weeks? What's 9 weeks?
I got 28 shows. It's 172, right?
172.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, 28.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. It's coming. It's coming soon.
It'll happen over the summer.
Yeah, it'll happen over the summer. We appreciate y'all, man. Parrish, y'all keep watching what Parrish is doing. Like I said, he's the only dude actually posting videos. Like, bro, I came from a time, bro. If you had a phone in that locker room, it was like an arms race to get your video out before everybody else. Bro, like nobody's posting videos. Like, anyway, shout out to you, Paris, because like I said, I'm tuning in every day, waiting for the notification to see what happened in the locker room, the energy, the vibes, all that. Shout out to Paris for that. Kenny, appreciate you, brother. All y'all who watching, keep rocking with us, man. Rock with all the shows on Bluff City Media. And we will see you guys next week, man. And we out.
Thank you for listening to the Anthony Sain Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. For comprehensive coverage of Memphis sports, head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co and find out how you can become an insider. We will see you back here next week.